I know there's some concerns, but from our point of view, it was pretty pleasing for that decision to come through, particularly because our AFLW team's made the finals and will play its first final in history on Saturday, and the historic doubleheader stays intact, albeit without fans in the stadium, but hopefully plenty watching on TV.
Yeah, it is a really exciting time for the club. As you said, there were some concerns, but it has been all approved. It's all going to proceed with the utmost precautions being taken. What do you think in this climate when there is quite a bit of uncertainty? We know that the people are struggling out there in the community. What do you think being able to still play football while it is safe to do so can do for people?
Oh, I think it does an enormous amount. It's the ultimate distraction anyway, sport. It's something that you can really care about that in a lot of ways, it isn't the most important thing, is it? It gives people something to really enjoy and take pride in, and I hope that's why we get a really big TV audience for ourselves in both games on Saturday. And I think sport's got to reflect what the community's attitudes are or lead the community sometimes as well, and I think that's what we've seen with the AFL, a bit of both this week, where a lot of the community, schools and universities and all sorts of areas of the community are continuing to push on and as you said, use the right precautions, but with the measures that are in place and the best advice that the AFL's been able to obtain, it's going to be good to be able to watch some footy on TV.
Absolutely, I will. And before we let you go, Dave, can we get a prediction for the results of both games? And then let's focus on Saturday night's game. I know you grew up in Geelong. Obviously, usually go to these games with your family. Obviously, won't be able to this time, but let's drill down on that big game, the opening round of the AFL. When you give us the result, give us the Giants' first goal kicker and the most possessions for the Giants as well.
So in the women's, I think Cora Staunton. You've thrown this to me cold, but I'm ready for it. Cora Staunton, I think, will kick the first goal and continue her great form. Elise Parker will dominate again. She's just in outstanding form. I expect, at Giant Stadium, I think it's a great opportunity for our AFLW team. I can see us winning our first final by 3 goals. In the men's, I'm really looking forward, as a lot of people will be, to the debut of Tom Green. Just a fantastic story, and so proud. Such a proud occasion for his family and others. I think we'll get over the top of Geelong. I know the quarters are shortened, but I think it'll be a 3 or 4 goal win, and it'll be a pretty tight contest because round one is always difficult to gauge. But I'm looking forward to seeing the captain in his first game, Stephen Coniglio. I think he'll have a blinder.
As you said, Dave, everyone's very much looking forward to 2 massive games of footy on Saturday. Make sure everyone is tuning in from wherever they can. Thanks, Dave, for joining us. We can't wait to hear what question you've got for the staff in the coming days.
Pleasure. See you, Alison. Silly.
Bye.
Dave Matthews there, the Giants Chief Executive, talking to us just minutes before the teams are announced on Thursday, the first team announcement for season 2020 for the AFL. It's going to be a big night. We're doing team talkback thanks to Kia, and that's why we're sitting here in Allison's Kia Sportage here at Giants Stadium with the women going through their final paces before their big final on Saturday as well.
It's a great vibe here, and I think the girls are just so excited. I know there's plenty of unknown around whether the AFL season would start, but the girls were in full preparation mode for their match against Geelong, and then last night they found out it wouldn't be against Geelong. I think they were sort of floating about whether they needed to go to Perth to take on Freo if it ended up being a top 4 final system, but it wasn't. They're going to take on Melbourne. They've swung straight into preparation mode. We were just in the team meeting before going through a few edits. They're all just super excited and really pumped up to get out there.
Thank you, Alice, and we'll flick back to the AFL program. And it was a huge day for the Green family on Wednesday. It started with Tom Green being announced in the team meeting as being the latest Giants player chosen to debut. It was also announced that he's extended his contract for 2 years. Not bad for a young kid yet to play an AFL game. A kid who's come through the Giants Academy and is from Canberra, and his mother has been good enough to join us, Mel, because it's going to be unusual circumstances for you, Mel, watching your son on the TV, something you probably haven't done much over recent years.
No, it hasn't. It is a strange situation to be in. But, the overriding thing is, he's playing, he's happy, he's keen to play. So I think that's what we've got to focus on rather than what we might be missing out on.
Thanks for joining us, Mel. It is such an exciting time for the entire family. Can you give us a bit of an insight into who Tom Green is?
Well, he's a very determined boy, and he has been since the day he was born, and he's been coordinated and active and hasn't stopped since he was born. I mean, I used to stand out in the backyard and say, okay, well, it's time for me to go in, whether I was bowling a cricket ball or kicking a footy with him or whatever it was always him saying, no, just one more. So he's always been very keen to, master whatever he's going to attempt to do. So footy became his passion, and that's what he's concentrated on.
So talk to us about how big footy is in your family, because we know that his grandfather, Michael Green, is a 4-time premiership player with the Tigers. We know footy's obviously very strong in the family. He's got some younger brothers also involved in the Giants Academy. So it must have just been a whole heap of ferrying some teenage boys around to footy games on the weekends.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yes, we have 4 boys and they all love footy. My husband and I are both from Melbourne, so Rich played a lot of footy. I dragged my Pommy father to the footy when I was about 5, so I'd been watching footy before I started watching my sons or my husband play footy. So, and then obviously with the Richmond connection with my father-in-law, we are footy mad. And when we moved out of Melbourne and have moved around because of Rich's work, it wasn't always easy to watch footy, especially far north Queensland in the mid-90s. So we would find footy channels to watch, and I think that's sort of been then imported onto the boys, so that they've become mad keen about footy as well. So yeah, and obviously ferrying everyone to training and stuff like that it's been fun, because quite often I had their mates as well, so it's been a lot of fun.
So, Mel, what does Saturday night look for you? I know you, were considering coming to Sydney, but have made the decision to stay in Canberra and watch the game from home. Will you be able to have some family and friends around to enjoy it, or will you just sit there in isolation, partly because of the current circumstances, but also just so you can concentrate on the game itself?
I don't know that we haven't completely decided what we would like to do.
Okay, I jumped the gun there. Sorry.
You're welcome to come up to Sydney. We'd be happy to have you up here.
Well, we thought we might just go up and at least watch it in a even if it was in a hotel room, and maybe catch up with Tom afterwards just to say hello and stuff like that. But I think both Rich and I will be quite focused on the game, and probably would like to. I don't think we'd be very good company, let's put it that way. So probably best if we watch it by ourselves somewhere, whether it's here or in Sydney. So I
was going to say, we've only known Tom for a few months, but he seems like a very composed and very mature kid for someone who's only 19. Do you reckon he'll be feeling the nerves from sort of today onwards until we get down to the game on Saturday night?
I don't know that nerves would be the thing. I think he has a great one of his great strengths, I think, is his ability to just concentrate on what he needs to do. I'm sure there will be some butterflies, but I think he's been very good in the past, no matter what he's been putting his mind to, in just focusing on what he needs to do and not sort of worrying about too much outside of that. That gives him a great strength, I think, to be able to just focus on that and not worry too much about that. But I'm sure he'll be excited. Obviously, it's something he's dreamed of, but I actually think he'll be quite determined to. I mean, he just wants to win.
Yeah.
He just wants to win, and that's his overriding desire. So he's able to sort of shut a lot of the other stuff out, I think.
He is one of the most professional people I've ever met at the age of 19. Can you give us any goss on him, though, outside? What's he like outside of football? I can tell you, and I can confirm, he's terrible at answering text messages. And I did text him this morning to see if he could talk to you, and ended up just messaging you myself.
Yeah, no, that isn't one of his strengths, I have to say, and that's very frustrating when he's moved out of home and you're not able to just walk into his room. I suppose the only thing that I would say is that I don't know why I ever bothered putting a wardrobe in his room, because he used his floor as a wardrobe. But otherwise, he's been very disciplined in doing what he needs to do to play footy. So he's a very passionate person. He enjoys he has a great passion for life. So I think, he's a lot of fun and a lot of energy to be around, and and others feed on that, I think. So yes, but his room and his organisation of his room could be improved.
Mel, we appreciate those insights. I don't know if Tom will appreciate them, but I know Giants fans certainly will. So thanks for your time this evening, and we look forward to seeing you at a Giants game soon, even if it's not this Saturday.
Thanks very much.
Mel Green there, the mother of Tom Green, who'll make his Giants debut this Saturday night when the Giants take on Geelong. You're listening to Team Talkback, presented by Kia. We're sitting here at Giants Stadium in Allison's Kia Sportage, which has plenty of room for Team Talkback. You can join us anytime, 8806 1111.
She's a ripper.
She's
Tom's a
star.
ripper, but Mel's great.
Mel's
He's also
great, Tom's
terrible at
great.
answering his phone.
And if you haven't seen it already, the Powder surprise video, thanks to Kia, is on the website, and well worth a look. The shock on this kid's face when Leon announced that he was making his debut, and then the phone call to his mum is a moment that everyone has a little tingle down the spine when they say that. It's a beautiful piece, and as we approach the all-important 6:20 for the teams coming out.
What are the hot topics for you?
Hot topics
What
for
do you
me
want to know
is,
the most?
from a Giants point of view, I reckon there's some decisions to make in the forward line.
Yeah, we saw...
Zach Langdon was really
Yeah.
good in the pre-season, kicked 5 in Marsh Series 1. Daniel Lloyd got runs on the board last year. Bobby Hill didn't play that last Marsh Series game, but has that X factor that you just...
Brent Daniels won us a final.
Yeah, Brent's a shoo-in these
Yeah,
days.
I
So
reckon Brent's okay.
teams won't be far away at all, and as soon as they come through, we'll share them with you here on Team Talkback. And it's not only the Giants and Geelong game, but there's 7 other games to go through this weekend as well, because the teams for the Richmond-Carlton game that it's played tonight in front of an empty MCG, they already came out last night.
It will be very, very interesting. Can I reveal one early?
Go
Just
for
because
it.
it's got a good story?
Sure.
So I was sitting waiting to, in a very, very quiet football department as it is at the moment, and I've got all the appropriate clearance to be in the football department, but we do keep it limited. And I watched Zach Langdon walk out of Leon's office, give the big bicep pump, and before he went home last night. So I reckon he's in.
He deserves to do that.
It was just one of my favourite moments because he was so excited.
It's been such a tough process for the coaches to settle on this 22 after a near, I know Tim Taranto is obviously going to miss a few months of football with a shoulder injury, but apart from that, it's been as close to perfect as a pre-season you can get, with plenty of numbers on the track right from December when the players returned.
Yeah, it has been. It's been unbelievable. And I think once we'll have, obviously, the 22 that have played, but we will be playing a NEAFL practice match against the Swans on Saturday. I think there's about 16 or 17 available for that one as well. We haven't seen those numbers for a really long time. So touch wood. There's no wood in my care because it's all very shiny and brand new. But it is very exciting. It's exactly what you want heading into round 1.
You're on Team Talkback here thanks to Kia. We're very privileged to be sitting in Allison's Kia Sportage tonight at Giants Stadium. AFLW team going through their paces behind us, and that's probably what you can hear in the background as well. But come on, the team must be out. There we go.
There we go.
There we go. The teams are out. All right. So what we're going to do is read out the names, the ins and outs from the Giants' last game, which was the grand final. All right, Allison,
Yep.
you got them?
So I've got an in, and it's a new captain. And it's probably no surprise that Stephen Keelio is playing.
Tick.
In, we also have, and this is one of my favourites, Isaac Cumming gets a halfback spot, which is really interesting because there was plenty of people who could have slotted into that spot.
Yep.
In,
So does that... Ooh, okay.
Ooh, no, go for it.
I'm just trying to do the
You're trying to
sums and
jump
work
the gun.
out if Cumming is in,
Yep.
that probably means Lockie Ash isn't in.
Lockie Ash will play NEAFL this
Okay.
week. I can't imagine it will be long before we see Lockie Ash on the footy field, but Isaac Cumming gets first go at that halfback
Okay.
spot.
Yep.
In, Sam Jacobs. No
Brilliant.
surprises. Into the ruck, straight in. He's been unbelievable since he's arrived here. He also keeps Shane Mumford out. And
Okay.
Mummy hasn't done a lot wrong.
Yep.
But Sam Jacobs keeps Shane Mumford out. In Green, Tom Green, which we knew, and in Zach Langdon, which we did know as well.
Brilliant. So from that grand final team out, Tomlinson obviously playing at Melbourne, Mumford
Plays Neefle.
Sam Reed will play in the
Plays
Neefle, Taranto injured, and Zach Williams, despite putting everything out there on the training track
He'll be
yesterday,
filthy.
misses out. So
But he will play Neefle, so he will get some game time under his belt
okay,
this
true.
week.
We're just going to try and find that Geelong team as well. That shouldn't be too far away because there is plenty of interest there with the likes of Selwood and Duncan not having a full pre-season. So
So the update yesterday was that Selwood and Duncan would play and that Jack Stephen wouldn't play. So it'll be interesting to see whether they're playing Ducks and Drakes, and I wouldn't put it past Geelong to tell a few little white lies to get through, would you?
no, they are the kings of the late change, aren't they? Especially 90 minutes out. But Alison, do you want to introduce us to our next guest while we pull up the Geelong ins and outs?
Isaac Cumming, you there?
Yes, I'm here, Zoe. How are you?
I don't know why you're on FaceTime in the middle of my car, but just so you know, we've got cameras everywhere. I'm going to show you. So we're here. You're also here on there. But we've got Isaac Cumming, also known as Cheese. I'm just going to prop you in my car somewhere safely and can assure everyone that we're not driving anywhere, so it's totally legal.
Isaac, we're doing it from Alison's Kia Sportage because, as you know, Kia, fantastic partners of the club. Mate, pick to play round one. That must be a little milestone for you because I imagine when you get to pre-season training in November, you had your sights set on playing round one.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, it was a long few months of pre-season, and obviously that end goal is to sort of be in that team come the first game at round one. And, there was a few sort of nervous weeks there leading up to it, including all those March games where you have to really perform to put your hand up for it. But, I'm in now, and I just can't wait.
It was something like, I think I did your stats as today, 22 touches, like 10 scoring involvements, 11 intercept possessions. Were you still really nervous this week? When did you find out you're in?
Well, I mean, I sort of had a good chat with Spike after the Richmond game.
That's Mark McVeigh, your backline coach?
Yep, and he sort of just sort of let me know about how he thought I went, and just sort of gave me a bit of confidence about what the selection process was going to be like come round one. But I sort of officially found out when I spoke to Leon